Okay. What did you do that?
What?
Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. TikTok, you don't stop. I will help you make your paper stack. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? 205-964-52439. Yep. 205-964-52439. You know.
We're back.
Sorry. What's happening? Welcome to today, live March 2nd. Real estate investing is what we're here to talk about, with a strong emphasis on wholesaling real estate, where there's low barrier to entry, low risk, high reward opportunity for all, especially if you have your tax return right now. There's an opportunity to turn that into an endless amount of money. What's going on, Kelly?
Hello. I'm doing great. Busy week. How you been?
Oh, super tight. Got Kelly's Kelly Wednesdays. So we got here our expert real estate broker to give you the side of the game from a realtor's perspective, but also she's an investor first. So, what, it went out again?
No, you had it on FaceTime.
Oh, I didn't flip it.
You didn't flip it.
Oh, y'all know how to do it?
Yes.
Well, anyway, so introduce yourself, Kelly, while we figure this out.
Hello. I am Kelly Mead. You can follow me at Kells Always. I am a real estate investor. Ever since I walked into my first boot camp in 2009. That's 19, but 9. So it kind of tells my age, but got my license at 2019 in order to sell new construction. So really vast in real estate investing, but also in new home construction, which I have recently had a huge passion for as well.
All right. Do you have any questions yet? No, everyone is saying hello. Hi.
Hello. I don't know if they're saying hello to me or to Ty.
Both of you guys.
Hey.
Okay. I'm back. All right, so you want to join us on the live stream, text the word Gator here to get your questions answered, get pushed to the front of the line, piss a few people off or whatever. We want to partner on actual land lots. Just text the word raw to this number, and this reply back will explain what we're looking for. I'm going to do a more detailed video hopefully this weekend because I have absolutely nothing to do. Still getting down with houses. Text 5050 to the number 205-964-5243, and we can partner on those also. Just to share with you guys, been really ramping the thing up. I know I started talking about the land, and we already do text messaging and cold calling. What else we do? Facebook ads. I don't think we're running those right now, but we run the Google AdWords. But the response rate to text messaging to people that are interested in selling land is been overwhelming. Got to change some things around here to manage the number of leads that are coming in right now. I'm giving you this tip. You can take and do whatever you want to with it, right? But there's a proper way of doing the text messaging, so you're going to know how to do that. Boom. So I'm going to do a more detailed video, and I'll include the text message. So I guess it may be they probably don't get text for that reason a lot versus on houses or whatever. So, but I'm just blown away. Even with the cold calling, we're getting more leads with the land. Now we're targeting beyond my market because it's easier, in my opinion, to virtual wholesale that than houses, but whatever. So the contract for houses, though, is what we're mainly here talking about. I still give that away. Been giving it away since 2008. been using it personally since 2003. You can get your copy of it free and on how to fill it out for sellers and buyers. But please watch the video and follow the instructions in the video. If you come back and say, hey, where's the download for the contract? And I know we sent you this video.
I know you ain't watching.
I know you don't watch. It's that simple.
And I'm sick of it.
And so also you're trying to build a list, either if it's for people that own land or houses or whatever. This video, which is a recent video, will help you get going. Also, the tool associated with that particular video, you want to text the word tool. If I can find it, you know how to spell it, but I'm gonna try to help you out. Where is it?
Tool.
L-O-O-T. T-O-L.
Not Lou.
That's Lou, ain't it? Okay, that boy smooth, ain't it? So text the word tool if you want to learn how to use it to build those lists. After you watch that list video, then text the word tool. Then you want to text the word time so we can train you in more in depth on everything. So that's all I got to say about that. That's answer some questions with an R.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass it to Ken.
All right, the first question, well, we got a couple of statements on TikTok. My family owns land in Florida, also North Carolina.
Let's do some business, baby.
All right, but the
And
first,
what the rest of them saying?
the first question on TikTok, how much does it cost to get a batch lead set up?
Now they got different levels of it, right? I think the minimum, don't quote me on this. They just charge me or whatever. I don't know what I pay, but I think the minimum is around 130 to 150, I think. But you want to access that through by watching this video. Show you how to set it all up. Plus, we can get you someone on board. Text the word text.
All right.
All right. Let's see. I don't have many on YouTube right now. Just a lot of people saying thanks for going live. This one came from John Smith. He said, "What's up, boss man? How do we get subject to or owner finance contracts and how to fill it out?"
On you, Kelly.
So, how do you get a subject to? I actually have. I speak on this too. Subject to is like one of my favorite. One of my properties I have now. I did through just happenstance, and I used subject to as an exit strategy because I couldn't figure out another way to exit out of it. And I ended up owning it free and clear because of it. But how do we get subject to is really someone in the cases like that, you usually have someone that has some equity in their property and they're wanting more than a wholesale price for it. And that is a great strategy to use to give them closer to what they want or give them market price and finance it. So you really need to understand terms and how to create terms and how to create a strategy for it. But basically, you get a subject to by basically asking someone, would they be willing to sell their property on terms if they're not willing to sell it as a wholesale? So for instance, the house that I own, I sold it to them on a 5-year term with the balloon at a set price. And we had an 8% interest rate. And they paid a down payment up front. Now, I kept the property, so I didn't have to charge them bigger down payment, but you'll want to, if you're going to wholesale that note over to someone, you're going to want to attach your assignment fee plus, the down payment of what the buyer will need to be all in on it. And then you go and find, or either your buyer finds someone that can do a owner finance, like a lease option, a rent to own situation or a lease to own situation. How do you fill it out? That is actually such an in-depth question because you would need to know your terms. You would need the right contract, and you basically would need to, if you don't have access to someone, if you've never done it before, I would just suggest go to a real estate attorney or someone that has done it before to walk you through a contract. I don't know if Footman has a contract for sub two. Maybe he has a video for it and he can walk you through that contract. But that's such an in-depth question that I don't even know if I could like answer it just like this. I would need a visual to show you based on the terms that you go under sub two about.
Tyrone could answer it.
I figured.
Text the word contract. The purchase and sales agreement is going to be the purchase and sales agreement. All you have to do is just indicate or add on there, see addendum. The addendum or exhibit A can spell out the terms that you've agreed upon. This is the contract is only is to initiate the process. The actual closing of it is going to be handled by a title company or closing attorney. You don't even worry about that part of it. Normal purchase and sales agreement, spell it out in an addendum or exhibit A or whatever. And because that's not the end of it, that's just to initiate it. And you just putting on paper what you want you all to sign off on as the seller and the buyer or whatever. So.
All right. I see the person that's in the chat, Tarshara, but I can't add you until you turn your camera and your mic on. So let me know if you want to come on camera. This question's from Devin's dude. He said, what do you say to someone you cold call and they say, wait, hold up, how did you get my number? What company you calling from? Who are you? What do you say?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. I always tell people, when I was cold calling, hey, I got your number from public records. I see that I'm just calling to confirm that you are the owner at X, Y, and Z property. Is that you? And then if they ask, I don't honestly, once I start asking them a question, if all the other stuff, if you haven't filed for your LLC and who are you? You can say, I'm just a local real estate investor that's looking at potentially buying your property, but I need to know, are you willing to sell it? And see what they say.
Okay.
Let me add one more thing. If you're funny, it's always good to start the conversation with a really nice joke. Break the ice. If they're asking you all these questions, they may be a little tight and wound up. Like break the ice a little bit if you have a good joke. So find you a couple of good one-liners and use those. Those help.
Yeah, just start off saying a pink elephant tastes like a red elephant.
Right.
But anyway, the first part of that is, what do you say when the seller say, hold up, how did you get my number? You say GOOGLE. The internet. What company are you calling from? I'm just a regular guy. My name is Ty Taylor, just trying to feed my family. That's it. Who are you? I'm just a regular guy. My name is Ty Taylor, just trying to buy some houses to feed my family, maybe create some generational wealth. And so, I might not say that, but just trying to feed my family. I don't want to use that, but you get it. You get the point.
Yeah.
You got those up. All right, we got a couple on TikTok, so I'm just gonna go through these.
Trying to give my kids something to do, something to work on.
They do it. How often do you think kids take over properties? As she's getting that information, what would you say is like? How often do children take over their parents' portfolio?
Well, just in general, the kids taking over a parent's business. Let's just say that, because that's basically what we're talking about. I'm going to probably say, and this is just me throwing a dart in the air or whatever to hit something. Probably 30%. Most kids, they didn't go through the struggle to get what their parents got. They just benefited from it greatly, which is nothing wrong with that. That's what the cycle of life. So normally they're not going to have the appreciation for it than the parent now. But then I say that, and you'll see situations like I could just think about this one restaurant here has been open since 1957, and the sons are in there running it. You know what I'm saying? So those guys are not that old. They probably in their 40s. or whatever. So so it happens, you know, what it'll transfer over. Because some kids will be the opposite of that, where I want to do exactly what daddy did or exactly what mommy did or whatever. You know, those are their heroes or whatever. So they'll want to mimic them in every way, even with the businesses that they are involved in, or the family business. So it'll hit me. But I'm gonna say it's on the other side of it that most don't do what their parents do. Let me just say that. Even if it's to some degree of quote unquote success, you know, where it could, you know, just basically they have a head start on some financial freedom in the sense if they want to get right into what mom and dad were doing. So, yeah.
I think it's a good
All
number.
right. Yeah. So,
Oh, I was saying, I think that's a good number, 30%, a good estimate.
yeah, probably 30. I don't know. Ain't no way to know. So. But like we were talking about baby boomers a couple of weeks back. See, a lot of them that have family-owned businesses, you know, those businesses just close, right? Instead of being transferred to a family member, you know, a kid or something. They just, when they retire, it just closes. They may be a really thriving business. They don't even have the thought that they could actually sell it or whatever. A lot of, you know, individuals would love to buy an established operation like that or whatever. So, you know, endless opportunities out here, guys. At the end of the day, I'm talking in circles, but there's endless opportunities out here. Endless. Just as many ways it is to spend money, guess what? It's just as many ways to make it.
All right. This is on TikTok. Other than foreclosures, what are other ways you can buy a house for cheap?
Plenty of ways. Yeah. Oh man, plenty of ways. Like a sub two, you know, I mean, I literally spent no money other than marketing that I spent to receive a lead, spent no money to acquire that house. So sub two is a really great way to get money, get a house for really cheap. I mean, man, I'm trying to think of. There's so many ways to get a house for cheap. I mean, honestly, finding a distressed homeowner and understanding their levels of motivation. A lot of people stack levels of motivation. When there's like 2 to 3 levels of motivation, there's a lot of people that will literally hand you their house just so they can walk away from it. It's just all about you being consistent and following up and making sure that you don't budge on your price or your number. But man, there's so many different ways. So sub two is a really great way. Understanding the levels of motivation, like if they have a lot of tax liens or different type of liens, is not as popular right now. Well, I guess depending on where you are. In my area, it's not as popular right now. But like sheriff sales and auctions, you can usually get some stuff really cheap, but they're running the numbers up everywhere, no matter where you go in the Birmingham area. I see it starting to get better, but yeah, you can find some really great deals on the courthouse steps still with the auctions.
All right, I'm about to add Tashara to the stream. Hello.
What's up, Ty?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, super tight. Where are you live streaming from?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio. I've been to Cleveland twice.
In the airport.
No.
I'm about to say, you get out the car.
No.
We had the discussion before.
I spent about 3 days in Cleveland. No
Okay,
problem.
you've been there.
I know about-
You've been there before.
I know
Okay.
about Cleveland a little bit. Not the airport this time. One time I drove.
Okay.
Won't ever do that again. Another time I flew, so it wasn't no big deal. But
Where did you
what
drive
What
from?
you got, Tashara? This your show. What's happening, baby?
Where did you drive from?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh my God.
Hey, when I drove back, I left at 6 p.m. ish. I said I can make it. I got about when I got to the Alabama. When I got to Nashville, I was exhausted. When I got to the Alabama line, I was delirious, and that's still another 2 hours. That's why you do some foolish stuff when you're younger, boy.
Mm-hmm.
I should have just put over and got a room. You know what I'm saying? I was letting the window down, everything. You know what I'm saying? I was delirious.
Oh, that's $11. That ain't bad.
Huh?
I drove to Texas. I've been to Cleveland twice, but it was when I was a kid, and it was for
If I got to drive that far, I ain't
I
going.
drove to DC.
They don't-
Drive, but I have to get hotel.
I ain't going. Hey, Terrell, I'm sorry, Terrell. We all over the place. What you got going, baby?
No,
I'm sorry.
you're fine. So what do you think the market is like here in Cleveland, Ohio?
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
That a lot of just national investors think, well, any market, it's similar to Birmingham. They love those markets because it's easy to cash flow as far as rentals in those areas. But you're in a heavily populated market, you know, it's always going to be opportunities there. I went
Okay.
up there to I hadn't talked to my man in a minute, but this Jewish guy, he was from Israel, and they was up there buying like 50 and 60 houses a month.
Oh wow.
It was a ridiculous number. I mean, what else is left? You know, they were killing it, but they were just doing rentals. You know, just
Okay.
straight rentals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. Thank you.
No problem at all. Please join us again.
Thank you.
All righty.
All right. Let's see. How about the NYC market?
What, in New York City?
Mhm.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, Cleveland is just over 2 million in metro population. Y'all know I love to look that up. And New York City metro population is over 20 million. So you do the math. Endless life situations that creates motivated sellers.
Yeah.
You just have to do your part and let them know you exist. So.
All right, this one says they're in the process of learning how to find ARV number. How do you go about it?
Oh, I do. You know, I don't spend a lot of time getting caught up in that. You know, there's a quick and dirty way that you can do it. Take the properties that sold in the last 90 days that are in a quarter mile away from your subject property, and make sure it is anywhere between 200 feet minus or less the square footage and the same amount of rooms, and then take the 3 highest numbers that have sold and then just divide it by 3, and then that's your ARV. Like it could be just as simple as that. Or, you know, even if you don't want to get too granular, like take the last 3 that sold in that area and make sure it still has it's somewhat comparable, like the same amount of bedrooms. Take the highest 3 and divide it by 3. Like, you know, it's a very, very simple, dirty way to do it, because at the end of the day, your cash buyer just needs you to be in the range, because you'll learn what they will and what won't pay for certain things. So you don't want to get hung up on the ARV too much, because what you understand is really not what the ARV is what they're willing to pay for it.
Boom. Yeah, you can. I have a detailed video to break it down. Also, just text the letters ARV on that. So.
All right. We got a couple questions on TikTok. Any tips on buying your first home?
There's your realtor right there.
Buy more than one. If it's for investment property.
I think they're talking about living in it. I think they're talking
Oh,
about
living in it. Any tips? Yeah. Oof, what tips do I have? You definitely want to make sure that you understand how you're going to finance it. So I would say definitely connect with a realtor that has a list of preferred lenders that understand your goals. So it's not even just about what your financial situation is and what your credit situation is. It's understanding what your goals are. And so that they can be the best lender for you, and they can turn you to the right programs that they offer. If you're a first-time home buyer, definitely take advantage of FHA financing. I would actually try to buy 4 doors if you can off of FHA, but definitely take advantage of FHA. There's also some down payment assistance programs if you need it. I would say take advantage of it, regardless of if you need it or not. If you qualify for it, take advantage of it for sure. And then after that, once you are pre-approved, you basically have a check to go and buy property that suits your needs. We're in a situation right now where we're coming a little bit out of the bubble. I don't think the market is going to crash, but we're coming out of the bubble. So I never advise anyone to go into a property with negative equity. So definitely want to have a appraisal contingency on your offers and be okay with waiting. Most people, it takes about 60 days to find their home. So be okay with the process. Don't think that you just, 2 weeks from now you'll have a home. Like, be okay with waiting it out to find the perfect one that matches your financial criteria.
Okay, we got another one on Instagram, and I knew this question was coming, but what state do you need a real estate license for in order to wholesale houses?
Currently, from my knowledge, Illinois, Kansas, Oklahoma, the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania requires a wholesaler's license, but from my understanding, it's more like a business license. So there's no test required. It's like a $500 fee and a background check or whatever. So, from my understanding.
Do you know where they are with Atlanta?
I hadn't,
Heard of.
I hadn't heard anything on that. I'll ask Renikia, but I hadn't heard anything on that.
All right, another question on Instagram. How can I wholesale bank-owned properties?
How can you wholesale bank-owned properties? You got it, Kelly.
Almost like you would wholesale any other property. Now when you're working, so there's special agents that can sell REO or bank-owned properties, and those are REO agents. You will need proof of funds in order to get into that deal until you establish a relationship, but you would definitely need proof of funds. And there's sometimes a seasoning period as well. So you want to look into making sure that you covered all your bases, that you won't have to hold it. But sometimes they just don't allow assignment of contract. So you just want to talk to a REO agent and make sure that they understand what you're doing, whether you have to buy it yourself and then, flip it if it's not a seasoning period. So, but it can be done.
Yeah, it could be done. I guess we get this question daily, so we have to answer it daily or whatever. But most people, when they hear about real estate, they think about discount, they think about foreclosure. It's just not how it is. See, the reason that you can wholesale real estate at a high level is you're going to have to control the seller side most of the time. When banks are involved, you are not going to control them. They're going to control the entire transaction, right? So now you got to deal with them. You got to deal with the agent, right? You got to have the right type of buyer because you didn't find anything they couldn't find themselves. Foreclosures are not a secret. I don't know if that's your interpretation of it. If it's available, everybody was available. And again, if you have the right type of buyer, you can make them happen a lot. And what I mean by that is you literally have to have a buyer that just has some money, giving you access to it in some form or fashion, and go out and buy me some real estate. I'm going to pay you. Because otherwise, they don't need you. They can bid on them foreclosures themselves. Now, not saying this again, it's not possible. But like she said, they're going to want proof of funds. They're going to want a minimum of $1,000. It's negotiable. You may be able to get away for $500. But normally, the only way they're going to take you serious is $1,000. So if you could jump through those hurdles and you got the right type of buyer for it, then yeah, you can do it. You're not going to be able to sign it. You're going to use some type of transitional funding or transactional funding, whatever they call it, or something like that, because it's going to have to be purchased for it first. They're not going to allow you to double close it either. So it's going to have to be purchased first. Now, if you have a title company and or an attorney that may do some things that's approaching a gray area, you may be able to get away with it then also. But I know some people, I say, I do them all the time. That's fine. I'm just talking to the ones that don't know what you know or whatever, and not willing to risk what you probably. I'm just telling them, make it very difficult to pull those off. But it can be done if you have a lot of things working for you. Point being, there are easier deals out there than those, period.
I was going to add too. I remember a situation when I was trying to get a bank on. I ended up walking away from it because they will always tell me, "Oh, they're not ready yet. Oh, they need to do one more thing to it." And it was basically like you were saying, the bank was controlling. It was like, "What?
The whole thing.
We're ready to go." And they were in the area. Well, they don't want to sign anything yet. They don't. So it becomes that kind of process. So it's almost like completing a short sale.
Yeah.
All right. We got a couple people down in the chat, and I'm gonna get to you in just a second, but I'm gonna answer maybe 2 or 3 questions before we do that, so we can be even. So this one says, Ty, I have a real estate agent willing to work with me wholesaling. What do I need to do, and what do I need from him in Illinois?
Okay, yeah. If you have are you in? I'm assuming you're in Illinois also, Marlon. So yeah, if you have an agent willing to work with you, I explained it 2 days ago. What today is Wednesday? Yeah, so I explained the little process. So I'm not gonna go through it today, but just go back and watch Monday's episode, and I break that down probably about 25 or so minutes in. Within the first 30 minutes, I break it down on how I would approach that if I was in one of those states, especially now since you've done the hard part. You got an agent that's willing to work for you. See, if I was a real estate agent, broker, and I think they all just call brokers in the state of Illinois, there's just different levels of it. I would be promoting wholesaling like it's going crazy. Anyone that doesn't have a license, you can go through me, right? Mm-hmm. I don't even have to have 50%. Give me 15, 20%, right? I let them spend the money to bring in deals, and then you can leverage my license. I'll be teaching classes every Saturday on wholesaling. You know what I'm saying? Go out here and find this money, man. Y'all funnel right through old Ty the broker. That's what I would do if I was a broker there. Yeah. So, and then those that are running from the hills because they heard of it, as I go back and watch Monday's episode, I explain how to break it down. It wouldn't bother me one bit if the whole nation went with that same rule. And so, okay. Normally, the people that are making those laws really don't understand what they're doing. And cats like myself, okay, that's good. That weeded out a lot of people anyway. Less competition. Mm-hmm. Not that I really care about it or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's enough money out here for everybody. But it don't hurt none to have less of it. So. Your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, that's what I do. I tell people I'm running ads right now. I tell people that I work with wholesalers because I want to work with you guys. I want to do deals. I think that it's great that you guys are out there, making calls, and the money is there. Sometimes it takes me 1 or 2 phone calls to get a buyer, if it's priced right, if it's a deal. So I want to work with you guys. Now, the only thing that I will say, I saw a post the other day, is they showed a HUD, and it was one person, the wholesaler was collecting $65,000. Now, I love when wholesalers make a lot of money, but the person that was selling the property made 10. Now that would be where I'm like, okay, we need so to work with me, like you gotta have some, not to say that person didn't have integrity, but there is a little bit of stewardness to it. So, that's why a lot of states have net listing is illegal. If I was to do that through commissions, that would be illegal for that very reason, because you're making 6 times more than what the seller is making. So that would be my only thing is like we got to make sure everything is fair for everyone around. It was like, no,
if that's what they wanted, that's what they got. It is fair.
I get that part. Yeah, you know what? And that was
who was the fair police?
Right.
Where's the cutoff?
Around it is like, well, that's what they signed for. But I'm like, but the person was a very elderly person. So, and so I get that part. Like if it was a person that I could say, yep, they're in their right mind. But if it's a person that was elderly, I just want to do really great deals and with integrity and make sure that I can sleep at night.
Well, well, again, I'm not disputing what you're saying. It's just I don't know what that situation was because some people. One of the interviews I did with this lady, the man was literally going to walk away from the house. She still gave him. He owed $2,400 in taxes or some ridiculous number like that, and she ended up just going there and doing a deal for like $24,000. But he literally was going to walk away from it. So.
The buyer is going to walk away from
No,
it?
the seller was going to walk away from the house because he didn't want to pay $2,400 in taxes, right? And so she ended up doing a deal for him for $24,000, which covered more than the taxes or whatever. But you have those situations out there where they don't care. You know what I'm saying? They like literally don't care, and it may not even have been a money issue. They just don't care about that situation anymore or whatever. So. It's hard, when I get it, but I don't know where so, who's going to determine? So if they'd have gave her 30,000, some people would have still said, well, you still made more than them, so where's the cutoff? You know what I'm saying? That's why that game, I know, again, I feel like you want to be able to sleep at night, but everybody sleeps differently. You know what I'm saying? So, but I get it, but I don't ever try to get in that part of it. Now, they doing something as far as finagling, but it's sort of like hard to steal someone's piece of real estate or whatever. Just literally, unless you get them to sign something they don't know that they're signing. And that's a different conversation. But if we actually going through a purchase and sales agreement, we agreed on this price. Oh, they getting what they getting, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I can't. Like I said, I would have to know the situation before saying, yeah, you might, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I would have to know the total situation on that.
When they have
it looks bad. Just on the numbers, she got 10 or they got 10, he got 60. It looks bad, just outside looking in. But what was the situation?
Those memes when they be like, "How do you sleep at night knowing you did that?" And they be like this.
I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm about to add Miss L. Brooks to the stream.
Like this.
Hello.
Greetings, everyone. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Hi.
What's happening?
Okay, great. Oh, nothing too much. Greetings to you all. So my question is this. I reside in Georgia. I saw a multitude of properties in the state of Maryland over the past weekend. Am I able to wholesale Maryland properties from the state of Georgia?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, they call it virtual
That's
wholesaling. Yes. You
Got it.
You would need to.
Sounds good. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to tell you how, but if that's all you needed to know, yeah, it's virtual wholesaling for sure. You can contact them through phone, not email, but direct mail, or you can partner up with someone there, where you're paying for the marketing and you're getting the people on the phone and then they help you find buyers. So there's a lot of different ways to do it virtually, but it absolutely can be done.
Oh
no! Turn your volume back on.
She didn't flip the camera too. Yeah,
she's not muted.
Yeah, you might want to. We're gonna go to the next.
All right. Yeah, join us again so we can finish. Yeah. All right.
Let's elaborate on what she was talking about. Okay, yeah. As she said, it's virtual wholesaling, but what was her name? L. Miss Brooks. Okay, yeah, Miss Brooks. Now it appears that you found these online somewhere. That I'm assuming. Now just understand that there's a possibility you're not the only one that have seen those, and they've been shopped around. I thought she said she found them online.
No. She said she was out on Maryland.
Oh, she was there?
She saw multiple two properties. I guess about
I'm saying, what did she wrote them down or something? That's what we're supposed to assume.
We didn't get the ad.
she was over there with the weekend.
Oh, I went, well, okay. It's a different conversation. Okay, next question.
All right. This one says, I have two questions. One, how do you get out of a contract if it comes close to closing date and you do not have a buyer? And then number two, no matter the amount, do you get your earnest money back at closing?
So if you don't have a buyer and you're close to the closing date, you can ask for an extension to the contract. Basically, be a simple addendum to extend the contract out. I would definitely look at why you don't have a buyer though, because if you have a good deal and you follow all the flip man's advice, you should be able to have a buyer within 5 to 10 days at least with consistent marketing or less.
What if they didn't and it's just not a good deal? So how do they get out of it?
Oh, if they get out of it, so you could just cancel the contract. I would say just let the person know. I know a lot of people walk away from stuff and they like never heard of them again, and they don't stop answering their phone. I mean, I know people that do it, and when you're wanting to be serious about this and be a professional, like let them know why that we're not able to close on this and say whatever it is. Maybe you didn't meet your due diligence process, whatever the case may be. If you pay earnest money, you forfeited that or earnest money at that point. But if you were to close on the deal, they essentially will, it's like a deduction in the purchase price. So you could get it back on your end as an assignment, but it will be like so if the purchase price was $7,500 and it was a $500 earnest money, then now the purchase price is $7,000, right? Because that $500 goes to the seller, and it will just get credited back to you on the assignment fee side. I hope that made sense when I said that. But otherwise, you'll just cancel the contract. You'll let the seller know, and then you will forfeit whatever earnest money that you put down on it.
All right, we have one on Instagram. This person is new to wholesaling. They have a nest egg of 60K. What should be their next move? That's a blessing. As a nest egg.
No, if you had a nest egg of 60K, I want to make sure that your credit score is above 680 or more. Definitely make sure your credit score, and then you want to make sure you have an LLC because you have a 60K. You can do that. Make sure you have an LLC, and then I want you to start. Once you get your LLC, you're going to open up a business account in your LLC name. And you're going to get a virtual office. So you're going to basically set up everything you need to do. You can almost research, what do I need for business credit, business line of funding, or business loan? Because I don't want you to use your 60K. I just want you to use it as leverage. I want you to use it as leverage to get business credit or business loans in your LLC's name. And then once you do that, you can get business credit cards that have 100K. 120K, double what your actual collateral that you have in your bank account. Once you do all of that, then you can spend money on marketing. You can do Facebook ads. You can do Google ads. You can do a lot of different things. If you want to go into wholesaling, if you want to use the 60K for wholesaling, or you can, become an investor and use and leverage the business funding in order to leverage like down payments for properties and get you acquire some doors. But you can do a lot of different things with 60K. But the first thing you want to do is not use your 60K. You want to leverage it as much as possible through business funding. Now it feels like he's looking like my answer would have been different.
Well, yeah, it'll be a little different. Establishing the LLC for sure. But you got the funds to do it. In reality, you could probably spend less than $2,000 of that to start to generate money off of it. Never have to touch the other $58,000 of it. So what I mean by that, I wouldn't recommend, even though you got the money to do it, to start with anything that really costs more than $1,000 to do. There may be a combination of things that cost more than that. I would try to stay under that. So you could do the cold calling, you can run a text message campaign, you could have a VA in place to help, maybe a couple of them actually. And then that's really it. Those two things should generate enough leads for you where you could do that first deal, and then now the monster will feed itself, meaning your business. So you're in a great position because obviously, well, I'm assuming if you save that amount of money, then you're a good steward or you make good financial decisions. Now, if it's just something you just inherited got from a loss or other, it'd be a different conversation possibly. But but yeah, but again, yeah, most definitely. So point being, what she was saying, with the business credit, all that, that's great too. You may want to look into that for sure. But you shouldn't have to use but a very small portion of that 60K to start generating money. You're in a position that when most people find out about this, they're a long way from that number or whatever. It's but actually being able to put their hands on 60 big ones or whatever. So you're in an unbelievable position to leverage that into a million at the end of this year. And we now in March, so you're in an unbelievable position.
All right, we got a question on Instagram.
Oh, and plus you can get everything you need to know for free. Right here. Next.
Yeah.
We got two similar questions on YouTube and TikTok. One asked about New Jersey's market and then surrounding areas of New Jersey City, and then the other person asked about Connecticut. So what's your take on those two markets?
Still gonna boil down to where you are, the populations that are surrounding you. If you're in an area where, like I say, 150, 250,000 in population is ideal within, 10 or 15 miles in any direction, you're good. If you're in a much smaller market, then you may have to use the power of the internet to try to do some deals or whatever. So it really doesn't matter where you are. You just have to adjust to the market. But if you got enough people there, the same issues individuals have here that own real estate, the same issues they'll have there in New Jersey or Connecticut. People die, people get divorced, medical bills, job or income loss, relocation, tired landlords, kids' tuition, just life creates motivated sellers. You as a wholesaler, you as a real estate investor, your primary job on a daily basis is getting up and letting people know you exist. How do you do that? You do that through marketing and advertising. That's why we talk about all these different methods of generating leads. It's all about saying, hey, I buy houses. Hey, I buy houses. Hey, I buy houses, or whatever you're targeting. But yeah, that's the name of the game. Just marketing your butt off to let people know you. We're really marketers in what we are. If you're gonna do deals and a bunch of deals, you're a great marketer in most cases. Most cases, in all cases.
I'm about to say the same goes for real estate agents and brokers too.
Yes, marketer. You're a great marketer. Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. This person on Instagram wants to meet you in person.
Okay.
they want a meet and greet. They
mean that. Okay.
I don't know they mean that. I'm just trying to help the situation out.
I do a little traveling sometimes. I normally don't let people know where I'm at. When I was in Las Vegas, somebody texted me and said, "Can I just see you?" Coming out of the Venetian. I was like, "Yeah, that was me." That may be possible.
All right, this is another question on Instagram. What's the best way to determine a seller is motivated to sell?
What's the best way to determine? What do you think, Kelly? If they motivated to sell, I got one word, but go ahead.
The best way to determine is you asking this one question is, if I was willing to give you a cash offer on your property, well, I just messed the question up, but basically you asking them if you give them an offer on their house, will they be willing to sell? And they say yes. But now, if they say yes, make your best offer, or maybe, or something like that, then they're not very motivated. They're just trying to hear what you got for them, and they're just like going to use that probably to figure out where they want to list their house on, if they plan on selling it. But just saying yes to you, that you will be willing to buy their house at a discount for all cash. If they say yes, then you have some motivation there.
Yeah, I agree. Is the price. That's it.
All from 10K when their house is worth 85.
Yeah. However it's pulled out of them, whether you got to make the number or they come up with the number or something, price.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're going to force you into it. Now, I'm continuously educating myself on stuff, especially this stuff.
Okay.
So when I hear something good, I'm a pounce on it. Now, some of it I'm doing, and I didn't know I was doing, and I didn't know that was the name of it or whatever. But I've been watching these guys because I've been consuming as much stuff as I can on land, right? And they got what they call a range offer, right? And basically, you basically throw them, okay, like I was negotiating on some land earlier on. We started out at the max number we could be at was 80,000. I started out, I told him we were willing to pay 45 to 50. He said he wasn't there. No. I said, well, what's your best number? And he said, just do text message. He said, keep going. So then I threw out 65 to 75. He said, now we're talking. And then I just threw out 75. He said, we can do that. And so deal. So he was refusing to give me an offer. We're still about 5,000 less than what the most we, were willing to pay on it. But the price, they can, it's just like, and I guess definitions are different depending on who you're talking to. In the realtors world, not being mean or anything, Kelly, but their definition of motivated seller is if they're asking $200,000 for it, that's ARV and that's they're asking, and then they reduced it. Now motivated seller, guess what they reduced it to? 194. That's not that. That ain't no motivation. That's just a typo, right? But no, motivation is price. Now, why they're motivated, it really doesn't matter. As long as they give you that price that makes sense for you as a wholesaler, that lets you know if you're motivated seller.
Something's going on with the sound.
It takes all the time.
She said something's going on with the sound.
Why it always happens?
There, it sounds better now.
Why it always happen to me? You said you couldn't hear it?
It's like a lot of
Are you sleepy? Are you sleepy?
It was a lot of static. It's better now.
Oh, that is better now? Okay. Anyway, price.
Yeah. And we do ranges as well. And we, like I said, we keep it super simple because we just go 40% under estimate just to get the conversation started in a range of that. So just to get the conversation started.
All right. This one says, hi, Flip Man. This package you're offering for $47 with your video, will it be mailed out to me or do I have to download it like the ebook?
It's a digital product. We ain't mailing nothing. People don't do that anymore on there. What you gonna play it on?
I was gonna say, you got some of your old CDs. You have some CDs, don't you?
No.
You don't have any.
We want when you spend your hard-earned money, we want you to get it instantly. What's better than that?
That's funny. I met a real estate investor that's been in the game as well for a long time, has been teaching it for a long time. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna dust off these CDs and start selling them again. I was like, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Hey, but no, he's gonna convert them and make them into audio, so that'll be nice. But yeah.
See.
All right. This one says, I have a potential deal involving a retiring landlord with a 26 property package plus some land. Would your one-page contract work for this deal?
Okay, I have a potential deal involving a retiring landlord with a 26 property package plus some land. For the single family, yeah, you want to do individual contracts on it. If you're going to use it, really don't have a choice. I guess you could do an addendum with other addresses, but with the land, that's a different contract.
Okay. Let's see. This says, starting with a budget, I want to use Zillow to find the ARV number. How can you look at a house and compare with comps and get an estimate number? What process do you use to find an estimate number?
If you go back and watch Jamil Demji, JD from Keegley and Astro Flipping, he and I did about 41 episodes of what we called Comps 101. If you go to YouTube and do a search with Flipman and Comps 101, the majority of those videos, we were doing them, well, he was doing most of the company. We were doing them using Zillow. He was using Zillow the most of the time. Now, I think Zillow's interface has changed a little, but you'll still be able to get it.
Mhm.
All right. I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to add Daryl to the...
Oh, we ain't doing no topic today?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Go ahead and do Daryl, and then we'll do the topic
Okay,
after
let me
that.
take this down. What's up?
DW, what's happening, man? Mr. Woodard.
What's going on, man? Happy
Oh,
to
you
talk
got
to
it.
you, man.
Same here.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, but let's see what you got. Yeah.
All right. So I got a off-market property. Cameras active. Okay, off-market property. So this one is interesting because the house it's got a it's already it's like a duplex, but it has a post office that's attached to it. So it's zoned as like a commercial house. So it's weird. I reached out to a realtor and he said that that it is zoned for commercial and he's not really.
You got that, kid?
So he said something about a duplex, but it's next
Yeah.
to a post office.
His realtor, the realtor probably is not familiar with the zoning, what it's zoned
Sorry
as,
about that, D.
classified as.
Hey, man, if you could type that in there.
Yeah, type it in the chat or
If he moving, he might need to pull over.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So we're gonna do what's the name?
Yeah, the topic.
Okay. What is the topic?
The topic
I ain't even
is
said it
say
in the
this.
beginning.
No, you didn't.
I ain't even said the topic.
Say this when a yellow seller says that or something like that. Say this. I'm gonna put the picture up.
Well, that don't tell me that. Let me see.
Well, hell, you made it up.
I'm just messing with you.
The words at the bottom said something about text messaging, though.
Yeah, no. Say this when a motivated seller asks, how does this process work? Okay, so basically when someone, you've called someone, they've called you, or however the contact was made. And the question was, well, a lot of times when that happens, whenever, it doesn't matter. They'll be like, well, how does, you've told them what you want. You want to buy their house at XYZ address. Or they called you and told you they got a house for sale. Well, sometimes before they even get into telling you the address or whatever, they want to know how the process works. So, well, what I'll do if I'm the one on the phone, I'll say, well, we've started it. All right, the first thing we would need to do is what we're doing now. So we can fact find about the property and we go from there. Hopefully we can agree on a phone, on a number, a price that we can both sleep with, right? And from there, we'll do the paperwork. But the process itself, and just explain how we go about everything. Number one, we buy houses as is. We normally close in 2 to 4 weeks. We pay all closing costs minus any unpaid taxes, mortgages, or liens. All right. So once you and I agree on a price, we normally would like to view the property, whether it's me or one of my team members will come out and do a walkthrough of the property, take some photos and videos for our records, possibly to share with some of our capital partners and or contractors. And from there, we'll do the paperwork, the purchase and sales agreement. That's not the final paperwork. It's just the paperwork to initiate the actual sale of your property to us. Okay, so once that happens, again, we'll get that in motion, going to the title company or closing attorney, depending on what state you're in. And we'll keep you updated on, where we are in the process. Once we get close to the actual closing date, we'll try to schedule it around your time and hours. And boom, once that happens, if it's an in-person closing, you sit down, we sign the paperwork, and from there, that's when you're funded. Either you can receive it from the title company or closing attorney's account, a check, or if you prefer a bank wire, we can put that in motion also. Boom, you pass us the keys and everyone leaves with a smile. Now, how does that process sound?
Beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna add Daryl back to the stream. Hold on a second. Hello.
Oh, you got it, Daryl.
Oh, you can hear me.
Hey. Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was asking about a house that is attached to a post office. So the seller gets $400 a month from the post office, and then it's also like a duplex or something. So it's a little weird. I'm just trying to figure out how to do the ARV on it.
This in Mayberry?
It's in Ohio.
No, I was thinking, okay, this is a area.
All right, but really though. So what market this is? What market is this in? What city?
It's Ohio. It's a city about a couple hours south of Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, all right. Okay, so now if the post office, which that's a guaranteed check, is paying $400, that's a plus. Is the owner living in the other portion of it or another renter?
No, it's a total investment property. She's got a tenant that lives there.
Well, what are they paying per month?
They paid $700 a month. She said the rental rate in that area is about $1,000. They've been there for 10 years and never raised the rent on them.
Okay, like she need to add a zero to the post office option.
Yeah, well,
They must have struck that deal back in 1917.
What did they say the rental rate was?
400.
No, for the other, they're paying 700 per.
700, so a total of 11.
Okay, and the rental rate in that area is what? What's the number?
$1,000.
Okay.
Okay. So it's potential there for $1,400. I don't know if the post office gonna change their rate without saying, well, we'll go somewhere else. But
the post office.
I wonder how long that lease is for. Do you know with the post office?
10 years. 10 years.
Oh wow.
10 years.
That's a guaranteed $48,000 over the next 10 years. Y'all know how I did that? 4
Yeah.
times 12 times 10,
right.
48,000.
We know you can do
But anyway.
You just talking about how you ain't need that yesterday. You ain't need no math.
But anyway, so how much does she want for it?
$115,000.
What do you think about that, Kelly? So basically getting $1,100 a month, $115,000 what she wants. That's close, that they're using that quote unquote 1% rule is right there. And it looks like you can squeeze another maybe 300 out of it if the market bears 1,000. So wouldn't be a terrible deal. Probably wouldn't be a deal I would do, but an investor would probably love to jump on something like that, especially with that guaranteed money from the post office. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So
Right.
that's probably the most attractive thing about it, that 10-year lease with the post office. If it's a triple net lease or anything close to that, even if they move, they're going to probably honor that next 10 years on that. You know, so
Sure. Right.
um, what do you think, Kelly?
Yeah, I was thinking that because that's what I was wanting to know, like what the income was. So I, I just talked about like a spread, but and now I'm about to talk about putting people out. But I wouldn't even want residential renters there. I would want other businesses in there because they're gonna pay more. You
Right.
probably get more per door being by a post office.
Right.
I would almost swing like if you were to get it under contract, you still want to stick to the numbers, but I would also put that as a possibility. Like, you can get other tenants in there on those type of lease terms where it's guaranteed. And I wouldn't even do rental residential tenants. But I think you're really close. I think you're at but I think you're at the very top. So you need to I don't know what the repairs is, or is there any maintenance, or they're behind on anything? There's liens toward the property. I'm assuming not, since it's the post office is one of their tenants, but I would, look at my numbers, but I would come they wouldn't we would need to come down a little bit more because you're at basically what you would buy it at for as if you were going to hold it yourself.
Right. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out like how to determine the value because it's got a duplex attached to the post office. So it's actually the potential to have 3 income streams from it.
Right. Yeah. I was with you not being able to really have any comps because of how unique this building is. You're gonna have to go with the asset based compare
Right.
analysis, and that's at the 1100. So at the 1% rule, you're at 110. So somebody would still may pay a 115, but I still think you're at the very top. So I would make sure that there's no additional surprises in the title or any liens. And then if there's any repairs that need to be done immediately, and then and subtract what you want to make on it, I would think you would probably need to be in the high 80s or the low 90s.
Okay. Commercial properties.
I couldn't hear what he said. What did he say?
I couldn't hear what he said.
Because I would like to know what the insurance looks like on that. With it being the post office, I want to know if they pay insurance. If I pay insurance, I would like to know what all the expenses are with my cap rate. If they're going to pay cash, or what my yield would be on that. My net yield would be on that, because then if you're in a healthy, like the Ohio, if you're in like a 7, you probably can get you a deal out of it. I will look at that. We lost him again. What you say, Ty?
It's a potential opportunity there, especially if you can add some value.
Yeah, I normally back out. I normally go back, started with the number, and then I try to get to a certain cap rate or a yield, and then that's usually the number that someone will buy in at, and then take out my expenses, like what I want to make on it.
All right.
I think you got something. Go ahead. Let's go.
I just wanted y'all to go more in detail about the 1% rule. Like,
just explain it, Kelly. I think I know what.
So there's a general rule which we haven't been able to use as much in the Huntsville, Alabama market, but where the general rule is the rental rate. What an investor wants to pay for it is usually 1% of the purchase price. Or sometimes investors look at it 1% of what their what financing would be. So, for instance, if it's a $200,000 house, they want to have $2,000 in rent. That's just not been the case though, recently. But that's like the general rule of thumb. But there's a lot of investors that like to be in at that point, and they are getting those numbers. for sure, all day. You just got to know what market and linking up with a good wholesaler that's negotiated well for you. Thank you.
All righty. So we've been rolling pretty hard, guys. I don't have to show none of this stuff. Anyway, so we hopefully got a lot of questions answered. If you didn't get your question answered, post in the comment section of any of my YouTube videos. I answer those on a daily basis. This will go into replay mode pretty much on all of these platforms. The best experience, in my opinion, is on Facebook. On YouTube. If you're on TikTok and Instagram, you can always go to my bio and tap the link there in the bio, and it'll take you straight to my YouTube channel, and the world is yours. Everything you need to know is there. So with that being said, Kelly, you want to share anything before we split this joint?
I'm gonna put you on the spot. He's like, what? He said he didn't have nothing to do this weekend. I'm speaking in Atlanta this weekend, so I'm just saying. I'm speaking in Atlanta this weekend. So yeah, guys, anybody that wants to join this weekend, we're gonna be in Atlanta. Yeah, I'm gonna be at Atlanta at the Hyatt, and
what's going on over there?
We're having an all-day mastermind. So there's going to be builders. They're going to be, if you want to learn how to be a builder, if you want to learn how to be a general contractor, if you want to learn how to cash flow group home properties, if you want to learn, if you are a licensed real estate agent or broker, or you're thinking about it, or you just really want to learn more about the new home sales process and marketing yourself for builders and other rehabbers. I will be speaking a lot on that. And then there's going to be a lot of motivation to help get your mindset right so that you can conquer whatever you plan to do in life, that you make no excuses for it. So we're gonna be there speaking with people from all over the US and having a good old time talking about real estate. And there's also going to be a guy that does luxury cars. So if you are in short-term rentals, you definitely should look at adding like rental car business to your portfolio, because most time people are going to rent a car when they come into town. Those two things that match well. So yeah.
All right. So we'll see you guys on the FLIPSIDE.
And I'll talk to you as well after this.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. TikTok, you don't stop. I will help you make your paper stack. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? 205-964-5243. Now you know 205-964-5243.